guess I need to be looking.
You tuned in to the Poloutics podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. What's up, St. Louis? Y'all tuned in to the Poloutics podcast. I got another special guest, y'all. We did it up big last week. We had the mayor of the great city of Jennings. It was a good Mother's Day special. Hope everybody had a good Mother's Day. The week has really gone by fast. Today we got a good show though, man. We got two guests today. Very interesting guests. We got the mayor of Pine Line today, the great city of Pine Line. And then we also have a community gardener that we're going to bring in. He called himself the hip hop gardener. He's on YouTube and Instagram, so you'll be able to find Brother Ron Jones in a little bit. But I'd like to welcome you all back to the Poloutics podcast. I know y'all see you got a different angle this week. I was real close to my mom, so I wanted to show that closeness. But we got a real good show today. I'm excited about our guest. Our first guest is actually a good friend of mine. I met him through politics, but we've grown to become great friends. We've been in many fights together. That's one thing that this gentleman is very passionate about, his community. And those are the type of leaders that we want to see lead our communities. And, he's from the community as well. I believe he graduated from Normandy High School, if I'm not mistaken. So he is not a new face to this community. He is a son of this community. And I'm going to let him talk about himself in a minute. But I'd like to welcome you all to the Poloutics podcast. We have the mayor of the great city of Pine Line. We have none other than the Mayor Terry Epps. Let's give him a round of applause. We don't have a live guest, Mayor, but I give you a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? There we go. There we go. Mayor Terry Epps, what's going on, man?
You got it, man. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. So tell everybody who you are, Mayor. I know I kind of gave you a warm welcome, but kind of introduce yourself to the audience, people who might not know who you are. Let us know where you went to school, where you went to high school. Let us know what you was doing before you was a mayor. Let us know what you're doing now. Because I know you just got off a fishing trip this weekend. Hope you caught some good fish. It's a good Sunday. It's a great day to have some fish, man. So
that's right.
But let everybody know who you are, man.
I'm Terry Epps. I'm the mayor of the great city of Pine Line. I'm a Normandy graduate, class of 1986. Proud member of the citizen of the city of Pine Line my entire life. I'm a 23-year coach.
All right.
For City Rec. I've been coaching. I have a passion for coaching kids. I coach football and baseball, Redbird rookies, Corey Lee, you name it. JFL football. I've been doing that 23 years. So, it's been great, man.
That's good, man. I'm glad that you decided to come on, man. You my second guest on this new show, man, and actually you the first guest outside of my mother. So, you an all-star lineup, man. You're an all-star lineup, man. And I'm glad to hear that you was involved with the community even before becoming mayor. So that's kind of like where your foundation came, really building those relationships. Me and the mayor talked last week about how important relationships are when it comes to leading the community and things like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So really glad to hear that you got your start right there in the community, working with the community and things like that, man. So tell me, Mayor, you got elected in 2016, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Pine Line was really going through some tumultuous times back then. Your mayor at the time was going through an indictment, and we had all these things going on with the traffic tickets. It was just so much going on in the city of Pine Line, man, and you decided to raise your hand and volunteer and say, you know what, I want to step up and be a leader, man. So let us know, what's one thing you wish you would have known before you began your career as mayor? What's that one thing you wish you would have known before you became a mayor?
How cutthroat politics can be. But that whole incident is what really made me step up to the plate, because I said to myself, I said, well, you can be a part of the problem or part of the solution. So I said, I'll be a part of the solution. And I also said to myself, if someone doesn't step in new to the game, how can you change the game? Because if you let some of the olds back in, you got the same game.
The same old thing, It's always a season for everybody and everything. And change isn't a bad thing. It's just it's hard for some people to accept. And so with that change, Mayor, what are some of the things that you are doing currently right now that you would say are different from your predecessor? Like, talk a little bit about some of the new things that you've implemented, or some new ways and some just different things that you're doing in the city of Pine Line to kind of change their image. Because back then, everybody carried that whole image of Pine Line with them, man. And I know I've seen the changes in Pine Line for myself, because I work directly in the community, in the 24/1 community, and I've seen a lot of the things that's going on. So just kind of talk about some of those new things that you've kind of implemented, and new ways of doing things in the city of Pine Line since you've been in that seat as mayor.
So first off, I want to be fair with everyone. I want to be accessible. That was one of the things that I ran on. Be transparent, and my residents have full accessibility. They can call me on the phone. They call me all the time, and we talk about things that's going on in the community. We're trying to change the image of the community. We have a great city of Pine Line, and one of my biggest goals is to clean it up. And when I say clean it up, crime, litter, derelict buildings. We've torn down several homes. We've improved several streets, and we're continuing to improve the streets and things like that. We've also built 41 new homes since I've been the mayor. We've opened up a bunch of new businesses. We just had our board meeting last week, and we have at least 3 more businesses that'll be opened up within the month. So we're growing, slowly growing, but we're growing, and we're growing entrepreneurship. We're growing businesses of people that look like us.
That's
in
awesome.
Our community.
That's awesome, man. And you know what's so funny, man? Speaking of entrepreneurship, the city of Pine Line, I actually used to go there for a program when I was in elementary school. It was called Junior Achievement. And the Junior Achievement building actually sat in the city of Pine Line. I was driving past that building the other day, man, and it reminded me of when I used to go there, man. And those programs actually help children, man, really catch the entrepreneur spirit, just changing their mindset, man. And I know that's one thing that you've been focused on. I know it's a couple of groups that's been forming to kind of help change the mindset of the city of Pine Line. What is it called? Pine Line for Change? Yeah. So I saw that, and I follow you guys, man. And that's one thing that we really have to focus on, changing the mindset of our community, because one thing people don't give leaders like yourself and all the other mayors in 24/1, Nate Griffin and Mayor Shields, they don't give credit to those leaders because we all come in at a disadvantage, man. We don't have the same resources and the tax dollars that a Ladue or a Clayton has coming into this situation. And so we're trying to make do with what we got at the time. And I like the fact that you all are moving in the right direction. Like you said, y'all moving slowly, but Mayor, y'all moving in the right direction. And that's what matters. Change is. I'll take incremental change before I take no change at all. And I believe that you all are going in the right direction, man. So, what are some of the resources that has helped you along the way on your journey as being the mayor in the city of Pine Line?
Well, it's been people like you, Terry. I've met you, like you said, doing my political career, and just being able to network with other mayors and other council and all the people, and having that person to lean on if you have a question or you're going through something to give you some answers. One of the things that you and I had discussed when we first hooked up and started talking and meeting, we wanted to both educate our residents on, what's on the ballot, what's going on in the community, what's good for the community, what's not good for the community. And I think that plays a major part of getting people involved, because a lot of people don't understand or know. And if there's nobody out there telling them, this is what this means on this ballot, how it could benefit the community, those are the things they're looking for. I have ward meetings every week. I mean, every month, every weekend, I was doing ward meetings before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And when we had those meetings, we would talk about issues like that, giving them updates on the community, giving them updates on the finance and what may be coming down the ballot, and how that's going to benefit the community or hurt the community, because a lot of things they put on these ballots, you don't really understand unless somebody explain it to you, and you go out there and, you vote on it and it's not to your benefit. And I've heard residents say sometimes on things that they don't understand, they just go any minute might vote, and pick
the first thing they see.
First day they'll pick one and then vote no on the other. But if they educated on what's on that ballot, they can make good informed decisions.
Yeah. And see, you made a good point in terms of having those ward meetings. Those are very important. See, some people think that the council meeting is the time to have those discussions. People don't really understand. The council meeting is to get the business done of the city. We voting on paying the bills. We voting on new businesses. And so we don't have like a long window of time for, like, we listen to the complaints, and that's a good place to kind of give your complaints. But in terms of like working those issues out and getting the understanding and brainstorming and all that, the council meeting isn't the time for that. That's why it's important for people to participate in these ward meetings, these neighborhood watch meetings, because that's where a lot of those great ideas come out. It's a safe space. You don't have to worry about we voting on something else and the agenda is too long and we can't really answer the questions. And I really admire you, Mayor, for taking the time to actually do that, because there's a lot of mayors that they go in for the council meetings and then they go home. Mayor Epps is one. He's one of the ones that I could really stand behind and say, hey, he's out there in the community going the extra mile. And a lot of you don't see that a whole lot. You see it, but you don't see it a whole lot. And the ones that are doing it, you don't have to say it because you actually see them, and you building those relationships and things like that, man. So go ahead. You have something.
Those ward meetings are important because now you're getting to meet the residents, get to know about them and what their concerns are, and really get to dive deeply into it. But the most important thing about it is now you're able to get them involved. And you have to get the community involved. And I often tell them we have to work together because there's things that we may not see. But if we got your eyes and you can call and tell us that this is going on, now we know how to prepare and attack that issue. So we have to work together, take all of us to work together to get our city in the right direction.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't have said it any better. Who are three people who have been the most influential to you? Three people, and they don't even necessarily have to be political, but give me three people that have been most influential to you, and what's one thing that you've taken from those three people and implemented in terms of your whole walk as a mayor, and the advice, and so give us three people and kind of talk about how they were influential to you and how you use their advice and their tools right now as mayor?
I have to say, starting off with my family,
Okay.
to have the patience and the understanding and the support that they give me, and my good friends, that has walked the miles with me, campaigning and this, that, and the other. So those will be my first, because they do in politics. You have to have some people that's going to stand strong with you regardless,
Yeah.
and that was very important. And then there's a gentleman, he's now passed on. His name is Cedric Clarkson, and he was the vice president of the NAACP
Oh
city
yeah.
chapter.
Yeah. I know him
And
very well.
great guy,
Yeah.
didn't know me from Adam,
Yeah.
took me under my wing, went in head first on helping me and giving me ideas and figuring this thing out with the city in the right direction that we need to take it. And, he was a very, very important part of me being successful in politics. And then I call him my mentor, Mayor McGee.
Yes, sir.
That's my guy.
Yes, sir.
Mayor McGee, he's firm, he's
Yep.
tough, but he's a straight shooter.
Yeah.
And, I've always been able to lean on him if I had issues or questions about how should this thing really be ran,
Yeah.
or this is going on, how do you approach it? And he's always had an answer for me. I call him for anything.
Yeah.
And one of his mottos, two of them I'm going to give you that stick with me, is one, we don't look down on you unless we're helping you get up.
Yeah.
And he stands on that. And the other one is stay in your lane before you get ran over.
Hey, Mayor McGee is definitely one of those champions in the community. He's one of the ones that we lean on. And like you said, he's a straight shooter. He has a lot of wisdom. And we have to make sure we take advantage of that knowledge why those folks are here, man, because sometimes, man, we have leaders that get so high up here and they not approachable. But Mayor McGee is one of those that you definitely can approach with any question. And one thing I like about Mayor McGee love young people, man. When Mayor McGee sees a young person that is doing some things that are positive, he definitely jumps behind him and support him, in a way, any other way that he can, man. And Brother Cedric that you mentioned too, man. I didn't realize you knew Brother Cedric, man, but he did the same thing to me when he was alive. He took me under his wing, helped me out a lot, helped my family out a lot, man. He actually used his influence in the NAACP to help my sister-in-law get a job, man. She was working for MoDOT. And those state jobs sometimes be hard to get into, you know what I'm saying? And so he helped her out, and he helped numerous people in the community that I knew that needed jobs, man. Anytime it was a job coming up, Cedric called and said, hey, somebody that could do this. And he always came through. How sometimes you get those people to call and say they got to hook up with a job, but they just know about the job. They can't actually get you the job. This man could get you in a job. If you wanted to work, he can get you in a job, man. So that was a great list. I don't disagree with your list at all, man. That was a excellent list. Let me ask you this, man. What's one of the hardest things? What's one of the hardest things you would say of being a mayor is right now? Like what's like if you could pick out, let's say, two hard things, two challenging things. Let's not say hard. Two challenging things as mayor. What are those, and how do you kind of tackle those challenges?
One, I would say getting everyone on the same page. Board and mayor and staff, we all have to be on the same page. Yeah. And sometimes it's challenging getting everybody to understand what visions are or what goals that we're all fighting for. And people get emotional. People get their feelings involved, and they miss the point by getting the feelings involved. And that's one thing. And then for the other would be bringing in development. Yeah. Bringing in economic development, in communities like ours, it just seems like no one wants to put the resources or the finances behind development in our community. But I always say our money's good to go outside the community. When are we going to be allowed to build up our own? Because if we had the development and the resources in our community, we don't need nothing else.
Absolutely.
We can do everything that everyone else is doing if we had those same opportunities and resources. And that's the point that a lot of people miss. We need it in our backyard, not going down the street around the corner to get it. We need it right here for ourselves, and we'll survive.
Yeah,
we'll make it.
Absolutely. And that's one of the remedies for crime.
Yep.
If you got jobs and tax dollars flowing in for resources and community centers and all that type of stuff, you could definitely curb crime in your community, man. And I'm glad you brought that up. And like I said, I mentioned that earlier, man. I take my hat off to all the leaders, man, that are working hard in our communities, man, especially in North County specifically, man, because we are at a disadvantage because it's hard to attract companies to come and set up shop that pay their fair share, because we have a lot of TIF districts, and a lot of people know, TIF ain't really bringing the regular tax dollars into our community we need, man. And I know a lot of communities want to shift away from creating more TIFs on top of TIFs.
We're giving those with the money breaks.
And
we need
it.
But I'll say this also: being the mayor, being in this role, man, we get a lot of doors closed.
Absolutely.
And we got to keep on opening the next one and keep on opening and going through those doors until we finally, get where we're trying to go, man. It's a fight, ongoing fight. But you got to keep hope, keep the faith, stay prayerful that things are going to turn around. And I think if you work hard, because I'm a hands-on mayor.
Yeah.
If you work hard, people will see that the work that you're doing and get behind you. And you just got to stay, like I say, prayed up on it.
And another important part to what you were saying, how we don't get the resources and we get doors closed on us fast. That right there should be even more motivation for the Black leaders in the area to start working together more closely and being more strategic and doing things collectively. Because when you come at a project as a group, it's hard for people to deny you, especially when you coming strong and you coming with a plan, because it's no reason that Pine Line, Northwoods, and Jennings can't come together on a project and go in and say, hey, this is what we want. It'll affect all of our communities. What can we do? You know what I'm saying? And I think we're at that point because of those relationships. In the past, it was, I'm working in my separate silo. But I believe all of the leaders majority of the leaders in the 24-1 and a few outside of the 24-1, like Bell Fountain Neighbors and Moline Acres and Jennings, are coming together and working together for the betterment of the community, man.
And I'm going to take it another step. And what you said is true. We have to continue to work together because it's a good look for us, showing that we're all working on the same page to move our communities forward. But I challenge those minority developers.
Absolutely.
They got to come together. We got enough minority developers. If they all got on the same page, they can do the work in our community.
Absolutely.
That's who I'm looking for to do the work. I mean, they have a history, some type of way. They know our communities. Be the investor, be the developer in our community. We have the land. Yeah. We got plenty of land.
We're
just looking for somebody to come develop.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
I mean, the opportunity is here.
Yeah. And
I believe if we have people that are willing to take that chance on our community, it'll pay dividends.
Absolutely. I see light at the end of the tunnel, though, Mayor, because there's a lot of people that are forward thinking, like what you just said. And I think we're on the right trajectory, man, to make these things happen, man. And I'm actually excited for the future of what we have coming down the pipe, even though, we're in a time where it's so much negativity, and I think we put more emphasis and give more attention to what's wrong versus focusing on trying to scale up what's right. We got a lot of things that are going good, but a lot of the attention is being looked at on the negative things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying we shouldn't be focused on the crime and all those things like that, but we need to make sure that we're focused on the things that are working, the things that are going correct, and scaling them up to where we can do some of those things, man. So
I agree.
We're gonna take a quick short break. This is a podcast. This ain't the radio station. So, but I'm looking for more people to advertise on my show. So, if you want to advertise on the Poloutics podcast, send me an inbox on the Poloutics podcast on Facebook. But we'll be back in a couple of seconds.
This is Chloe with Vassals, Comfort Shoes, and Custom Insoles, your diabetic shoe supplier in St. Louis. You're listening to the hottest show in the loop, the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.
This is the Hip Hop Gardener from Blackberry Landscaping. And when I'm ever listening to an app or podcast shows, I'm listening to the hottest show in the loop, the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.
You better ask somebody.
You tuned in to the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. All right, we're back. And if you're just tuning in, we're having a great conversation with the mayor of the great city of Pine Lime, Mayor Terry Epps. Been enjoying you so far, Mayor. Been a real good conversation, man. I hope this ain't the last time you come on my show, man.
No, you know, see, I tell you something, man. This is one of the things that we're missing. And that's getting our voice heard,
Absolutely.
The media outlet is so powerful.
Yes.
That, a show like this now tells the narrative that we want the people.
Absolutely.
And that's very important.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, man. And, that was part of the motivation for starting the Poloutics Podcast. I didn't want to create another messy show. We got enough of those. And I wanted to make sure I focus on the positive things in our community, but also the challenging things, because there are some conversations that we need to have as a community. And when those things come up, I wanted to create a platform for us to be able to have those discussions and also let people know what's going on in our areas, man. Some people watch the news and, they hear, oh, this happened in Pine Line, oh, this happened in Jennings. And they think we just live like animals, man. But that's not really how we really live, man. And I think we got a good story to tell. And I think nobody can tell your story better than you. And so, that's my whole motivation, man, for putting together this whole Poloutics Podcast.
And that's great, man, because as you just stated, it's a lot of I heard or I thought.
Absolutely.
I'll give you a brief story. We had some water line replacements being done by American Water.
Mm-hmm.
And the workers over there, mostly whites, were working on our streets. And the guy, the foreman, came up to me and said, man, your residents are awesome. They've offered us water. They've offered us food to eat. Yeah. And I told him, I said, that's the story that you need to take out in West County and South County and tell those people, because they hear the negative, but let them know your story on your encounter, because most of those people don't even come to our community.
Exactly.
But they hear, and that's what they spread.
Yep.
So spread the good news.
Spread the good news, Mayor. In that same vein, man, I got a question I need to ask you. I asked the other mayor this, and so now I got to ask you. It's actually two questions that I asked her that I'm going to ask you as well. Okay. The first one: what is one common myth about being mayor that you would like to clear up? What's one thing that people think they know about the mayor but it's a myth. So kind of clear that up. Give me one thing.
Any mayor or the mayor of Pine Line?
Just being a mayor. What's a myth that you kind of hear sometimes? Like for instance, the mayor last week, my mom, she said one myth that she wanted to clear up is that the mayor has all of the answers and we don't. Okay. So she wanted to clear that up. Okay. So what's your myth?
Well, I hear this all the time that politicians are crooks.
Oh yeah.
So that's what.
Yeah.
That is not true.
Yeah.
People don't realize the time and the effort and the passion and the lost sleep that we have being in these roles, man. Yeah. We have sleepless nights, long nights. I mean, our phones ring throughout the night, early in the morning. And like Mayor Austin said, sometimes they think we have all the answers. Yeah. My first maybe week or so on the job, and it blew me away. I had a senior call me talking about her cat was in the tree. I say, I thought you only see that on television, but she definitely called. I mean, just the things that they call and ask us for. So that makes me work even harder.
Yeah.
To get things done because they feel that we do have all the answers. But then you always hear the negative side. Oh, if you're a politician, you're a crook.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
And they think we rich.
Oh, man. Man, tell them. I tell the housekeeper all the time, you make more money than I do. And I mean that. She don't believe it.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm always digging in my pocket, giving more than I'm bringing in. Like this is volunteer. Exactly. When you add up the hours, and then you add up the pay, this volunteer, it ain't even minimum wage what we bringing in when you add the hours that we put in. So that's definitely a good myth to clear up. In 5 words, Mayor. 5 words. You ain't got to give me an explanation. Just give me 5 words and tell me what good governance looks like to you.
Being involved with the community and being consistent.
Oh yeah. Being involved and being consistent. Bam! That's how you put a stamp on it. And that's very powerful, Mayor. And I appreciate you saying being involved. Because how are you gonna meet the needs of the community if you're not involved? The only way to know the issues is to go directly to the issues. Go to the source, get an understanding of what folks need. And that's how you can be effective. You can't solve I work at Beyond Housing, and we live by these 3 things. We live by ask, align, and act. So we ask the community what it is that the community want or need. And from asking, we get an understanding of what the needs are. And then we align our resources. We're an organization that's blessed to have a great network and a lot of people that support the work that we're doing. So we're able to kind of align our resources once we ask the community what it is they want. And then we put it all into action.
And I'll say this too, and you all are very consistent.
Yeah.
Beyond Housing is very consistent in their goals and their vision. Yeah. I mean, they don't stray away from what they're trying to do. Nah. If you have any questions or doubts, because when I came in, I heard all the chatter, this, that, and the other, and some of it I see, and I've talked to the CEO and say, I'm not really with this, but he gave me a reason for it.
Right.
And as always, I think has been transparent.
Absolutely.
About the things that they're doing. And I often tell people that they're transparent. They're a great resource in the community, this, that, and the other. So very consistent in what they do.
Man, one thing that really, I just celebrated my 11th year anniversary here at Beyond Housing, man. And one of the reasons that I stayed on board initially, man, was, I worked for a couple of organizations that said, we're planning to do this in the community. We're going to do this. Man, I actually saw stuff happen. Like I started here when it wasn't nothing in Paysdale, and to see a groundbreaking for a grocery store, and then it actually sprouted up. Then a senior building, then a movie theater. Then we went over to the Pine Line. Now we doing some other things in Pine Line. It made me a believer, man. And I like I like working for the organization, and it gives me an opportunity to do the things that I'm already doing. Working in the community. I get paid a salary to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I actually get to continue the work that I do outside of work. So I feel like, sometimes I don't even clock out of work, because when I leave from the office doing work, I'm out in the community doing similar things that I do when I'm in the office, man. So, I don't really have no off days, but it's something that I enjoy doing. And I could tell that you enjoy doing that as well, Mayor, because I see you out there, man. You don't have to be in no food giveaways if you don't want to, but you out there giving out food, you rolling up your sleeves, you out in the community, you doing cleanups and all that, man, and you're not there for I ain't gonna say just, you're not there for the pictures. You don't even care about the pictures, Mayor. Some people are out. Yeah, you're a public servant. Some people are out there because it's campaign coming up and they trying to get on the picture so people can think that they doing something. And that's one thing that I admire about you, Mayor.
I made a pact with myself when I first ran for office. I said to myself, because I didn't know what I was really getting into. I know politics. I've been around politics.
Right.
I have good friends that are politicians. So I knew politics, but it's different when you're actually involved.
Right.
But what I made a pact to myself was, whenever I can't do my job effective and efficiently, walk away.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to hold myself where I got to stay.
Yeah.
If it's time to go, it's time to go. And I think that's what happens with a lot of politicians. They overstay their welcome.
Yeah.
Their mindset changes, because I believe everyone comes in willing to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But then the influences, the power,
Yep.
it's a lot of angles come at you when you're in these positions.
Yeah.
And you got to stay strong and keep your morals and your values. And if you do that, you'll be all right.
It'll definitely do something to your ego, man. I done seen a lot of people get ego drunk. That's what I call it. Ego drunk, man. They get in these positions and think they invisible, man. And one thing that you got to realize when you get in these positions, like, you don't own the seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's gonna come behind you. Somebody was there before you. You're not gonna be there forever. And like you said, when you feel like it's your time to go, it's a good time to just step away, and the people will always speak. You know what I mean? So
and I'll tell you another thing you can add to that too. Somebody's always out to get your job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, hey, my good friend Ted that passed away, man, he had a saying, man, ain't no seat safe.
Nope.
And he used to tell me that all the time, even though he was my friend and he supported me. And, he supported the work that I was doing. He said, man, your seat ain't safe either. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no seat safe, and nobody owns no seat. I mean, we saw that with Cori Bush beating Lacey Clay, man. That was a huge feat. You know what I'm saying? And I know she worked hard to do that. And that didn't just happen, but that's an example of ain't no seat safe, man.
You gotta put the work in. And then I'll tell you another one. The same, it too. Wesley Bell.
Oh yeah. I mean,
hey, even though we wanted to believe, some had doubts, and he believed and he did it. You know what I'm saying? And there's no and now in my mindset is there's no looking back. No. Let's keep moving forward. Both of them. Let's stay strong behind them and keep pushing them ahead when they fall. As I often tell my kids, we're only as strong as our weakest link.
That's right.
We all got to stand together and keep pushing this train forward.
That's right. So in that same vein of conversation of elections, what advice would you give someone wanting to pursue running for political office, Mayor? So let's say somebody called you today, young, old, middle-aged. They called you today. They never ran for office, but they call you and say, hey, Mayor Epps, I'm thinking about running. What advice would you give somebody that called and asked you that?
Do the right thing, work hard and do the right thing. And I'm going to give them the advice that was first given to me a gentleman who happens to be an attorney, but a friend of mine. The first thing he told me, he said, when I told him I was getting into politics, he said, if you're doing it for the money, you're going to jail. If you're doing it for the people, you're going to be all right.
Be all right. Yeah.
And he meant that.
Yeah.
And that is so true.
Yeah.
You have to be a public servant. You have to have serving at heart. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing, but make sure you're doing your part to make a difference.
And that's some good advice, Mayor. That's some real good advice. Shoot, like you said, if you're doing, say that again, Mayor.
If you're doing it for the money, you're going to jail. If you're doing it for the people, you're doing the right thing. You'll be all right.
And so, Mayor, but before we get out of here, man, I got my last burning question that I asked the other mayor. We were talking about how no seat is safe and things of that nature. And you're not going to be there forever. We know you're not going to be the mayor of Pine Line forever. You're going to move on at some point. But before you move on, give me two things, man, two solid things that you hope to accomplish before leaving office in the city of Pine Line. Two big just things that you just really want to see happen for the city before you depart being the mayor of the city of Pine Line.
One of my motivations and goals have always been to leave the city better than what I got it. As you stated earlier, it was kind of rough for the community and the city when I took office, and I vowed to make sure that I leave the next mayor in better shape than I was when I got in office. And just get us on the right track financially, growing our community with the businesses, making sure that our residents are proud to be in the community. That's the passion you have to fill these seats. It's got to be about the people. And, if you know me as the mayor of Pine Line, I'm hands-on. I cut grass. I give out food.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to make this city move in the right direction. To sum it up, you have to sacrifice.
You gotta sacrifice.
You have to. If you're not willing to sacrifice, this ain't the job for you.
This ain't the job for you. This ain't the job for you. You tuned in to the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. Well, we had a great show today. Great conversation. Mayor Epps, where can the people find you if they want to get in contact with you? Social media, email, where can they find you?
My email, teps@pineline.org. First initial, last name, pineline.org. Website, www.pineline.org. I do have a Facebook page, a Terry Epps page. I have a Mayor Epps page, LinkedIn. Or you can just reach out to me at City Hall. I'm always somewhere around in the area.
That's what I'm talking about. Mayor, man, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you have a lot going on. I'd like to thank everyone that tuned in today. We were supposed to bring in another guest, but you know how you colored folk are, man. Something always comes up. But my man is going to be with us next week. Brother Ron Jones, he'll be with us next week on the Poloutics Podcast. I appreciate you all tuning in again. You can find us on Podbean, catch up on all of your episodes that you missed out. You can catch us on Podbean. You can catch us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Amazon, 88.1 The Truth Radio, and everywhere else. You can catch us on Facebook, and you can catch us on YouTube as well. So it'll be uploaded for you to check out the latest episodes, man. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you all on next Sunday at 6:00. We out this thing.
Peace.
You tuned in to the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.